What's up, guys? It's Nora, and today we are back with our special guest who's also the other star of the channel now.
Jacob.
Well, your name's in the channel now.
I know.
Because you're the other primary person in the channel.
Yeah, I did marry you.
Yeah? Why are you acting so weird about it?
Oh.
Anyway, we wanted to give you guys an update about Sweden, talking about Sweden. I did do previously an update, but the more we get closer to that time, which we aren't even, I feel like, close to that time, the more like research we're obviously doing. So Jacob has decided, what is Jacob gonna do when he goes over?
My main goal is to get a job at Volvo. I've looked at the company as a whole, and it seems like it would be awesome to work for. So that is my main goal, is to get a job through them. I decided not to go into schooling. Just a lot of the programs that were offered didn't really catch my eye or anything I truly wanted to study. So I figured I would just rather work instead. Okay.
Also, a lot of the programs that he wanted to go into, he didn't necessarily have the requirements for, so he just decided that. In terms of me and getting a job, because I do need to take that proficiency test, I've decided that I'd like to do, again, a job at the hospital that I would like to work at. I am thinking about maybe doing like a medical secretary job where I'm hopefully using a lot of Swedish. I don't know if maybe in those roles they still would use a lot of English depending on who they're speaking to. So I plan on doing or being a medical secretary until I could get that proficiency test done, as well as all the clinical training. Now, in terms of bringing the bunnies, which is like the thing that stresses us out the absolute most, I've done a little more research into getting them over there, and the biggest barrier that we're going to have, besides needing to get them a health certificate, which we will have to somewhere get them by a state vet, like, examined to get a health certificate, and you have to do it within 30 days of you leaving because it needs to be relevant that they are healthy to travel. We will then also have to get two different separate things called phytosanitary certificates. I know. Because our big dilemma is that they travel and they need to constantly have hay with them, especially with their litter box. They need to constantly have hay so they don't go into GI stasis, as well as they eat grain, and we'll also at some point have to get them veggies, that's easier to get in the airport than anything else because we can just buy it and they'll eat it right up. The problem is that we won't have the hay for them to constantly have. So to carry both the grain, which is made of mostly Timothy hay, and the actual Timothy hay, we will need a phytosanitary certificate, which, through my understanding of how to do it, because online is not the greatest of resources unless you're actually in the profession, and then you can actually read it really well. We will have to go and bring those products to the phytosanitary certificate person in Maine. There's like two listed who work with the Office of Agriculture and Importing Exporting Plant Products, and we will have to essentially get the stuff examined and get them to say no, there's no critters in it. That also has to be done within 30 days of us choosing to move and bring it. I think if like worst comes to worst, we could just give them veggies, but that's not something that I want to do. I want them to have the hay. I don't think there's anywhere in the airport that we could technically purchase hay. I think there would be a slim chance that in Germany, the vet that is in the German airport would provide us with hay, but you never know. We will also have to find out the rules and regulations of bringing them into Germany. However, they are more laid back since we're just traveling through the airport with them in Germany, and we are not actually
leaving the airport.
Yeah, leaving the airport or taking them out of the airport property. I don't know if it would include us going to go see their vet, but they do have a vet there, just in case. I don't know if the Boston airport has a vet, but who knows? That's out in the air. The biggest question that we've been getting from everybody is, oh, so what date are you planning to move? We don't have a date. I think it really depends on everything that we just talked about, including visas. Visas and when our job wants us to start, and housing are going to be like the three biggest barriers. I know visa-wise, they kind of recommend you like start 6 months prior. Usually it takes 3 months to get the visa process, especially if you work through a company that works with the migration agency, which my hospital will. I don't know if Volvo does. that will be something that we will find out in the future. However, the visas are going to literally be the determining factors as to when we can go over, as well as, like I said, housing. Jacob and I have discussed it, and we think it would be better for us to just purchase an apartment versus rent one. Now, I do have like a week, the last week of July. If I needed to go over and do any kind of like business or purchase an apartment or look at apartments, that could be done that week of July, hopefully, would be the plan. If need be, if it really got to the point where I was struggling to do it, I could probably like go part-time at my job and just say, peace out until I can figure something out. But to purchase an apartment, the 2 and 3 bedroom apartments that we would be looking to purchase, we really only need a 2-bedroom if it's like a decent second bedroom for the bunnies. They're around like 130 to 150, as in thousands, 150,000s, 130,000s kroner. So they're a little less in US dollars because of the conversion right now. And also they're supposed to go into like a housing crash. So it may also be cheaper when we're looking. We don't really know. That's not bad. And the down payments are about 21,000. And again, I'm not paying for anything right now. So that it would like be most cost worthy for us to go over and purchase an apartment. Worst comes to worst, we could go over and stay in like a short-term rental, or worst comes to worst, we can stay into like a cheap hotel, because hotels over there really aren't that expensive. Really are not that bad. Not that we want to live in one, but just for the time being. And also we still plan on not going over with the bunnies initially. We plan on going after we come back for like a bunch of weddings that we have kind of around the same weekends of the same week. The first weekend and the last weekend of that 1 week. It'll be easier for us to travel back with them instead of moving all of our junk over there in the one move. But again, it kind of depends on visas. Like our goal is for end of August, early September. But if that was to get pushed back a few months because the visa process is getting changed right now in Sweden and it's getting stricter, then that's when we go over. That's just kind of like when we've decided is our time that we'd like to begin to go over. Or begin to start living there. I'm trying to think what else. Because really the biggest things are the housing, the bunnies, the visas. We're not going to even address driving. That's not going to... I mean, maybe... considering like shipping my car over, because it is made in Sweden, so it might have Swedish standards. We haven't figured that one out yet, but if it'd be worth it to just ship my car over, although I can't get my driver's license just yet. Or I guess apparently we can go and get our driver's license and go and test for it, but I don't want to right now. That's not something I'm willing to do. Maybe if that's something you want to do,
Maybe.
go for it. That's your goal. I'm focusing on other things and public transportation because it's just so good over there. Oh, I also forgot to mention I am on A2 of Swedish. And I'm cruising through it, unlike A1 where I got married, went on vacation twice. I didn't cruise through that because of that, but now I'm a third way through the course. I'm still waiting to get my certificate for the first one, but it might just be coming over from Sweden, so that just might take a while. And Jacob's learning Swedish in his own ways. He's working on it. But I think that's pretty much it for our Swedish update, or Sweden update. Yes, we are still keeping tabs on the news over there. We still keep tabs on the whole war situation, because that is also, a factor. Because you never know. You never know what's going to happen with that. I mean, the United States is not making itself look any greater to live in either. I think there's been a lot of things in the last few months that Jacob and I have gone, oh my god, I need to get out of here. Especially problems that have been happening in healthcare with my insurance and everything. Really gonna be happy to live in a healthcare system that you get free healthcare through from. That's also like, you can just go to the pharmacy.
It's not for universal healthcare.
You get capped at. You get capped at the healthcare and you don't pay that much. But also it's much easier to go to the pharmacy and like get prescriptions and stuff versus the way they make it here. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing Jacob, because he's not in a ton of videos, which I think makes everyone think that it's my idea when it's not always my idea. It's also Jacob's idea. So I'm glad that you spoke up. Is there any updates that you want to talk about?
No, not really.
Just that? Just was it?
Yeah.
How's Swedish?
Good.
Are you learning a lot?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better at reading it. I'm having trouble pronouncing it.
Yeah, you struggle a lot with the pronunciation.
But most of the time I can pick out what, paragraph reads. I more struggle with hearing it and connecting the sounds to the words. It'll just take me a little bit more
He
time.
needs
But
to not look at the actual book as he's listening to the pronunciation of it, because then he still reads it like the book and not the pronunciation. If you cover the book, he listens to it and repeats it properly. But if you don't cover the book, it's all over.
I'll just say I have a thick American accent.
No, you just struggle with not being monotone. My problem right now is that when I'm reading things now, it's like the little tiny words that are in between. Like, I used to be focusing on learning the verbs, but now that I know most of the verbs, I'm trying to find those like little in between details. Or like sometimes I know all the words in the sentence, but it just doesn't translate properly in my English head. So it just doesn't, like, I get the point of what they're trying to say, but it just doesn't translate exactly how it should for it to make sense for me. So sometimes I just have to look up the whole sentence, even though I can tell you what each separate words translates to. I just, together, it doesn't work out. But I've found a lot more recently when I've been doing my Swedish and I'm reading stuff, I'm reading a lot more without having any problems. I know a lot more of the words, and I'm doing assignments and going, oh, that's much easier. So I think I'm getting better. I'm not perfect with conjugations, but I think that just definitely comes with time. It's more about learning the words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys next time. I don't know when that will be. Maybe I'll have a story time in the future. I don't really know. But we also have a cruise coming up in April. So that'll be fun. You guys will see a lot of videos of that. We'll be bringing the GoPro, and I don't know if we'll bring this camera. We may, just for like the in-between times. I'll have to get like I don't have the part that you hold when you walk around. I don't have that piece for the camera yet, so I'll have to get that. But we'll see you guys next time.